What should I merch? That's a question that I get a shocking amount in game. It is one that I have grown to fear and one that I hate when I see. Maybe a little harsh, but it is one that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If you're asking someone at a certain moment what they should merch, if they know what to merch, if they know what the best merch is, more than likely they're doing it, so they can't really tell you. And the alternative is they don't know what the merch is, so they have to say no anyways. It's really just a dead-end question that no one likes having to answer. So that's why I made this video. I'm gonna be heading on over to GE Tracker. They are a supporter of the vid, so if you want to check them out, feel free to do so down below. Now that we're over here, what I'm going to do is just talk about every item in game that really is of significant value and what my feelings are upon flipping it or merging it. Now, obviously, I can't go too in depth on these items since I'm going to run through all of the items, and the reason you may be asking why I'm going through so many is because I just want to be able to tell everyone what is good. If I only send you in a direction of 10 items, then those are going to be bad, but if I just tell you how every item is, I don't know how I go wrong. But hopefully you guys can get a good understanding as far as what I enjoy flipping and what I think works pretty well. With flipping, you just kind of have to get a feel for the item, so over time, the more you flip something, the more you'll understand how it works. But with that said, let's start off with stuff that isn't even on here because it isn't frequently traded, and that is Third Age. Now, for Third Age, honestly, I wouldn't recommend flipping it all that much. The only real profitable flips that you'll get are going to be some of the, Third Age pickaxes, Third Age longswords. However, those, oftentimes, that's just how much the item's going down because they're so infrequently traded that it's hard to tell if it's a flip or if someone just had to sell their item for less. But yeah, if you can get an understanding for some of the starter Third Age, maybe you can move on to some of this and have a good bit of luck. However, I've never had real luck with Third Age other than a few like stray Third Age plate leg flips back in the day. Now next, looking at the T-bow, this is one that I'll do an in-game example and actually find the flip, and what it is right now. I have a T-bow on me and I don't mind losing a little bit, so I'll insta-sell it. That's gonna, it's not bad. And it insta-buys for, 987k more, about a mil. Could get a little more if you waited, but yeah. Obviously a pretty decent flip right there. The Ellie is one that I have found to be pretty successful at times, getting a couple mil every now and then on flips. However, sometimes it's pretty infrequently bought and sold, so it can be a little hard to work with. I don't know a whole lot about the new raids armors, mostly because I've just been raiding, so I haven't had any cash to flip with for the last little bit. I don't have enough information on these to be able to say, but I'd imagine that the Rapier is probably going to be the best flip out of them. The Avernic Defender hilt is one that I'd assume is very close with the Dex Prayer Scroll. It's something you use, and once you use it, it's gone out of the game. I do have problems flipping Dex, so I'd assume that the same thing is true with the Defender hilt for now. Ancestral Armor is one that I've had more success with sometimes packaging them and actually selling them. Along with that, the Robe Top and the hat probably work better than the legs, so I'd recommend those. The Dragon Hunter Crossbow can be pretty decent at times as well. Third Age Wand, Kodai Wand, I wouldn't mess with either of them really. The Kodai Wand obviously right now has a good margin and can at times. However, when I flip it, I seem to just have to sit on too many of them, and it's not something I all too enjoy. Dragon Claws, much like the Dragon Warhammer, both work really well. They'll have like 100 to 200k margin for the most part, and you can flip those really quick, as you can see by their trade volume. The Dragon Fireward's one that, again, I think has low trade volume and honestly doesn't provide much of a return. Right now, however, it's obviously proven me wrong, but for the most part in the past, I haven't had too much luck with it. Moving into more of the 50 mil gear area, the Spectral Spirit Shield is one that I do enjoy. Much like the Arcane, it does have a margin, however, this isn't bought and sold as much, so it's not that great, but definitely something that's a little better for the 50 mil range. Elder Mauls I do enjoy as well, especially if revs are a big thing, which they are right now. Armadillo gear in general I like a lot, whether it be the helm, the chest plate, or the legs. Ceridome and Godsword, honestly, not that great. As far as a flip goes, really don't enjoy that one. Never really seem to get much on it. Upgraded boots in general, Pegasians, Prims, and Eternals, I do think are a little overrated. I think that there's something that's flipped a lot. However, sometimes you can find some decent margins, so I think it's worth a check. Bandos Tassets, again with the Bandos chestplate, I do like both of those. I think you can get some decent flips there, so worth a check. Typically, it's either going to be like a 100k margin or like a 5k margin, so if you end up losing just a little bit, it's no biggie really. Bludgeon, I don't like, to be honest with you. Imbued Heart, I do think is is one that's pretty good. And I think the 15 to 30 mil range is really rough. Ancient Spirit Shield I think is pretty bad. The Anku armor can be alright, but such low volume that I never really flip it. Ornament kits are I don't enjoy them all too much, honestly, but some of the lower ones I think are a little better. Higher value ones just don't trade at all, really. The AGS I don't like all too much either. Doesn't really offer much of a margin at all, I don't think. The Zenite jewelry I do really enjoy as far as just all of them go. I think they all buy and trade for decent margins and decent value. And then going on to more of the 10 to 1 mil area is the last thing I'll talk about. A lot of the items in here I'll just run through real quick which ones actually stick out to me. The Din's Bulwark, one that I do enjoy a lot. The Din's Bulwark is one that I think works pretty well. Turning dragon limbs into dragon crossbows is something that I do like to do every now and then for a little bit of side cash. Zamaraki and Hastan spears are one that I've had as like a consistent flip for years back. They always seem to have just a little bit of a margin on them, enough to keep me, I guess, entertained by it, and they both trade pretty well. Guardian boots I think are actually ones that during times where they're traded more can be nice. ZGS along with BGS, I do enjoy those god swords actually a little bit more than the AGS and the SGS. Turning fangs into blowpipes sometimes can actually make you profit. Right now it looks like a loss. Typically not the case. Charging Pharaoh scepters can make you money as well. Here you'll see there's like a 150, 200k margin, which is insane. I've been intrigued by bonds. Honestly, buying them every now and then when you know that they're going to go up for a certain thing is one that is pretty profitable, and I've done it in the past. And then some of the lower tier armor, honestly, around here, I wouldn't really recommend flipping all too much. I don't think much here has a lot to offer. Honestly, most of them are pretty poor. I do like the D-hide boots. I think that those have pretty decent margins, along with the Barrows gear, Ranger's gloves as well, and honestly, that's about it as far as big items that you can actually flip. So now I'll finish up with what is, I guess, a little bit of advice for those of you learning to flip, or if you're someone that just wants to take some less risky flips. High volume items are a really good shout. Now, there are just so many of them that it's really hard for me to pin down ones that I think work the best. Honestly, a lot of the ones that you'll see on this list, I can tell you that I've done before and I've enjoyed. Battle staffs I like, potions I like, such as the restores and the prayer potions. Black dragonhide, both in that form and the leather form. Black chinchampas are ones I enjoy. Red chinchampas, ruby and diamond dragon bolts are both ones that I like a lot. Planks are ones that I like to do a lot. Mahogany more in particular. And yeah, really, as far as this goes, a lot of the margins for this stuff are kind of wacky. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Some of them do have higher margins typically than others, but most of the time you can just find random margins on anything. And since it is so easy to go and buy and sell these items, since you don't lose much money on the flip, it just makes sense to check as many things as you possibly can. What I'd recommend if you're trying to get ideas for items like this that'll work is just think about anything mid to high tier in the game that people do a lot of, whether it be in the form of skilling, PVMing, or PKing, anything like that. Just be sure to check it out and you'll find yourself probably a decent flip within no time. For those of you that like flipping, honestly, this is something that I would have wanted as soon as I started. People always told me to find my own flips and see what I can do, but honestly, sometimes it can be hard to know what actually works, and there is a decent learning curve to it. Now, today, I did run through pretty much everything as far as high tier items go, and I think I went through enough to where I shouldn't really mess up any item in particular too much, so I think it's a really good medium that I stand at. So, if you guys did enjoy the video, though, make sure to leave a like. If there's anything you want to tell me, let me know in a comment down below. And on top of that, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you guys do have a wonderful day, and see you.